Summit brings the hope, empowering communities, helping them cope. Generational turnaround, our mission is but clear. Revitalizing villages, bringing neighbors near. Together we'll build a village, supporting one another and then a helping hand. Addressing young people, their needs and their plans. Creating a community where we all can take a stand. Neighborhood gatherings where connections are made. Community where support won't fade. Communication channels for neighbors to share. Resources and information for the young people gaining newly released, seeking knowledge from the others, and they take time.
I can't hear you.
I'm just
Okay.
talking. I'm just talking and nobody heard a word I say. That's
No.
okay. That's okay. Well, welcome to Generational Turnaround Summit, where we seek the truth and then we bring my viewers the proof. And today, the proof is coming from Dana Ferguson, my guest. Dana, would you say hello to the viewers today?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what, everybody? I want Dana to just tell a little bit about who you are, Dana. And and I see you have Dana Lachelle. Where did I get Ferguson from?
That's my last name. That's my first and middle name.
Okay, okay. Well, everybody hold on for 1 minute. And you know, this does happen every once in a while when I'm trying to do everything and I'm not doing everything gets a little bit off. But that's all right. Don't y'all worry. Because what Dana has for you all is worth the wait. Okay, I'm back. I want to read you all what I wrote about Dana. Okay, Dana Ferguson is not only a grandmother and a dedicated employee, but she has also made a significant impact during her time in prison. Yes, Dana spent some time in prison, and I'm going to let her tell you about that. But while serving her sentence, Dana taught ABE and GED and parenting classes to other women inmates. This opportunity allowed her to not only educate and empower these women, but also make a generational turnaround in their life and hers. By teaching valuable skills and providing parenting guidance, Dana played a vital role in breaking the cycle of incarceration and helping these women create a better future for themselves and their children. Her dedication and commitment to making a positive impact on others' lives are truly commendable. Dana's work in prison has undoubtedly made a lasting and transformative difference for both the individuals she taught and the generations to come. So Dana Ferguson has done more than she probably imagined that she would do in that situation. But she knew her heart and she knew what God, but God. So I want to take this time right now to welcome again Dana Ferguson to Generational Turnaround. And I have the Generational Turnaround Summit because we are preparing for a summit like none other, generational turnaround summit, where everybody, and I'm gonna be specific. I and each speaker that's on the roster, and we have 16, they all have one thing in common, and that we want to turn around what's going on in the country right now, especially for our Black communities. There are so many young people that's ending up in prison. And that's because what I found out so far is because they are going to get theirs by any means possible. The bag that I've been told, the bag. And so we want to show them another way that they can get the same result without the circumstances and the situations that follows that. So that's why I asked Dana to come here. I asked Dana to tell her story in hopes that anyone who might have a thought of doing the same thing and hoping to get a different result, well, Dana, we need you to tell the story, not me. So
Yes, ma'am.
uh, it's on
Yes,
you.
yes, ma'am. Like Miss Judy said, I'm a grandmother. I'm 48. I've been in the church since I was 10. However, I straddled the fence for over 20 years, which landed me in prison for 7 years because I thought I could serve the light and the darkness at the same time and go against what the creator said. That's not true because when you think you know more than the creator, that's when you mess up. However, those 7 years transformed my life because I was moving so fast before I went to prison. I didn't give myself time to even hear the things that I needed to hear that would have prevented me going to prison. There was many opportunities for me to stop the lifestyle that I was in. Not saying it was a bad lifestyle, but it was not the right lifestyle. It wasn't the right people. But I never stood still long enough to hear those warning bells, those big stop signs. I didn't have time to stop. So a situation occurred where I had no choice but to stop. It took a lot out of me. I was gone from my children's life for 7 long years. I missed both of them's graduation. I missed a whole lot that I couldn't get back. However, the biggest thing, the biggest loss for me was losing my old self. And that was the biggest gain for me as well, because that's when I began to shed all those layers that I needed to shed long ago, and all those attributes that made me make the bad decisions that I made in my previous life. Those began to be pulled out by the root. I came home. I did the 7 years. And what happened, like I told Miss Judy, I think it was either 16 or 17, I was sitting on my bed, and God was like, okay, if you finally ready to just surrender and let me do what I've been trying to do in your life, your entire life, I'm ready to do it for you. And from that moment on, I just did a whole 360. My whole perspective changed. I wasn't angry anymore. I was ready to take full accountability, everything. And I always face things head on, but now it was with a whole fresh set of eyes. So I finished my sentence. I came home. I've been home. This to be my 5th year home. I've been in some obstacles since I've been home. However, I never give up. I've always just pressed down and pressed down. And this last year was my total real 360, when I began to realize that what my real purpose was, what I was here for, and that's for me to let not even my words, but my light that's inside of me exude for me, for other people to be blessed by the things that I've been through and I've survived. And as I was preparing for this evening, I was listening to a song, and it was just like I told Miss Judy, I've always had that connection where I've had that small voice speak to me, and he was like, this is your final exam, this is your final stage, this is what I prepared you for. All I've known my entire life is pain and praise. I go through something, but I praise my way out of it. And I lost my father not even a good month ago. And that's the biggest pain I've ever had to face. However, like I was saying, as I was preparing for this, he's like, when I told you this 6 months ago, I was preparing you. You're going to get through this. This is your final test. And then you're going to be the woman that I destined you to be long, long ago. And I came on here to tell y'all, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what anybody else says, if you believe in yourself and you have faith and you combine them together, you can accomplish and overcome anything.
Dana, yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
that is true. And I would be remiss if I know my viewers are saying, okay, she went to prison. She was there for 7 years. But what did she go to prison for?
I the man that I was with at that present time robbed the place, and I knew about it, and I didn't turn him in, and I wouldn't turn state's evidence, so they got me for accessory.
For accessory.
Yes, ma'am.
How many times is how many that women and men get the max for accessory? Not that they did the crime, but
Yes, ma'am.
only because they knew about it.
Yes, ma'am.
To me, that is so wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had children that you left behind, you had to leave behind because of that knowledge, not because you protect that you were involved, but because you had the knowledge of
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
There are so many who were did not even have the knowledge that maybe they the person they were involved with had put something in their home that was
Mm-hmm.
illegal, and they got 10 years for
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
So, when you were in, did you meet other women who had been in there for the same reason? Because,
Yes, ma'am.
oh, so how do you help each other? Was that your way of helping them? Is helping them through the GED and your knowledge? It's your knowledge that helps you be able to help someone else, and in turn makes your time faster, go by faster.
Yes, ma'am. It
So
could. I work
tell us
all the
about that.
time because it's a situation where if you don't keep your mind occupied, your mind races 24/7. And then that's when you go into the what ifs, the what's going on beside the wall. Is my mom okay? Is my children okay? And to avoid that, you stay busy. So I work 6 or 7 days a week. So by the time I came back to the pod, I was tired enough to just take a shower and go to sleep. But I was also making sure that I was able to help someone else that didn't have the knowledge that I was privileged to have or that I was able to learn. And not like I forgot to tell you, not only did I help them with their GED, a lot of the girls, when they were trying to get back into court and get their sentences shortened, I helped them create their law documents as well. So it was just a situation like I tell Consuelo that although I was in prison, my daughter says it best. She told me before I left, she said, Mama, this time when you're going to jail, you're not even going to jail for yourself, you're going for somebody else. And I'm like, when I went through that process and I helped the ones that I helped, that's all I could remember my daughter telling me. I said, that child of mine. Children, no, but it was just a beautiful experience. Although I was in prison, to be able to help other women become better women and have better self-esteem, that was fulfillment in itself.
And you, right there, you started a generational turnaround, because those women who, if you would not have been there at that moment, at that time, they would not have accomplished what they did, and then were able to get out with their GED, a new attitude,
Hmm.
and a new found respect for themselves. Because I can only just imagine if you go in there and then you don't have anything to look forward to. And then here comes you, Dana, you planted by God to help these women. Now, you left your children, but your children knew who they were, who they,
Hmm.
who you were, and that when you come back, they knew there was going to be a new light on you. And I know, you see, that is exactly what I believe that God gave me the generational turnaround
Hmm.
for. To He was already, when I got those 16 speakers, Suelo being one of them, I did not know these speakers, most of them,
Hmm.
but they freely said, yes, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of generational turnaround, because I'm working with some young people, I'm working with some older people, and there's some things from the past that our village elders can bring back,
Hmm.
and there's some things that our young people can add to. And do you know what could happen, Dana?
Hmm. Man, a
Oh,
lot.
yes, what's gonna happen is what God already has put in position.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now we know why you were there. We know what you did when you were in there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about what Dana's doing now.
Well, besides from being a grandmother 24/7, I work at home for Cigna in as a patient care advocate for the pharmacy side for military beneficiaries and their families.
Okay, how old were you when that happened?
32,
Okay, okay. And you're how old now?
48.
Okay, Dana, did you have the experience already in the field that you are in now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I've worked in customer service since I was maybe 16.
Hmm.
But and the very first time I worked in a call center, I think I was 21, and
Okay.
I just
Okay.
always added to my customer service skills. I've always been a people person.
So did you see, one of the questions I had, did you see the impact of your work on the women inmates and their families? Can you share any specific success stories or moments that stood out to you about what you did in that prison?
Yes, ma'am. It's Christy. It was like five teachers, five or six of us teachers, and when we started the program, we started with the actual GED testing. Then they phased out that and they went to the high set. We were we had the highest rate of graduates in that region in Mississippi at the time, and we were able to see a lot of the girls' families reunited because their sister, daughter, brother, I mean sister, daughter, aunt, or whatever accomplished something, because that was the biggest milestone for them in prison, because they like, I tried to get my GED all these years. I thought it was so hard, but once they achieved that, and then we even gave them a graduation there, and for them to be acknowledged like that, it just gave them a different sense of hope. They were hopeful that, hey, maybe I can do something different when I get out of here. They didn't feel hopeless anymore.
So what prison were you in?
It was Washington County Correctional Facility, Regional Facility in Greenville, Mississippi.
Oh, in Greenville. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So say you gave them hope that they did not have. And see, hope is more than a wish. You do,
Mm-hmm.
you have a wish, and if it don't, say it's your birthday, and you don't get it on that day, wish that's it. But when you have hope, there is no expiration date on a hope. And
Nope.
I, I say to you, Dana, thank you for going in there and not just uh, trying to wait till your time pass and just keeping it to all your knowledge to yourself, but you shared it with these women. In what ways do you believe education and support can break the cycle of incarceration and create the generational turnaround?
Well, it's proof in it because, like, the majority of the women that I'm friends with on Facebook are the girls from prison that
Yeah.
got their GEDs, that they're still out there. They have the full support of their family, they got full time jobs, and they just broke that cycle of recidivism. So once they had that GED, like a couple of girls, they got out, got their CDLs. They both drive 18-wheeler trucks. So they was
Oh,
like, I got this education, I'm unstoppable, and I'm never going back. And they have that mind frame. It just gave them a different perspective on, hey, maybe there is life outside these walls. Maybe I'm not what people in society said I was.
yes.
And I always told them, I said, this is my principle. If someone tells me I can't do something, I show them that I can. And I
Hmm.
would just tell them, I said, you just got to look at things differently. And I used to tell the girls all the time, it's not about anybody else, it's about you. You're in control of your life. I said, yeah, hey, you made a mistake. But they would always say, but Miss Dana, you ain't did what I did. And I'd be like, but look, ain't I sharing a bed right next to you? I said, so
Yeah,
apparently I did something. I
that's
said,
right.
so I don't even want to hear that. I said, we made a mistake. Hey, and like my daddy used to always say, okay, we can't change it. All we can do is grow from it.
That's right.
And that's what we did. We were in pods of 50, but in each pod, we would grow as a group, and we would help each other. We would build each other up and not tear each other. Hello?
Get you unmuted. How about that?
Okay, now I can hear
All
you.
right. Yeah, he's a liar and the truth is not in him. This information is going far and wide. And you see, I mean, it's got me almost in tears because so many people mindset says, "Oh, we didn't put them in prison, and they ain't doing nothing but eat,
Mm-hmm.
three hots in a cow. They just on us, and we just paying for them and all that, all that." But you are just saying exactly. These women then came out here driving 18 wheelers, bringing supplies that we all need across
Mm-hmm.
the country, but they spent some time in prison and now they're marked as felons or
Mm-hmm.
all these names that they give to our people that when they get out, it's hard to make it hard.
Yes, ma'am.
So now, generational turnaround is now a non-profit, okay? And it's a transitional resource. And my heart is for the men who are in prison and who don't maybe not have the person that you are that went into prison and decided I'm going to use what I have to help, but have children on the outside that they can't wait to get out and get with. But there's a whole lot of obstacles in the way that they're going to have to go through from the prison to the children.
Mm-hmm.
So the transition of housing, the transition of jobs, having the right paperwork so that you can get your driver's license, your social security,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually be back with your babies. How many stories did you hear like that, Dana?
Too many. That was like a revolving door. That's all you heard.
Wanting to be back home with their babies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, You know, let me see. Next question I have for you. What advice do you have for others who might be in similar situations or facing similar challenges? How can they create their own generational turnaround from where they are and they know they're getting ready to get time?
First thing you have to do is accept accountability. And when I say accountability, you may not be there for the whatever they say you there for. However, some part of that situation you are accountable for. When you accept accountability and say, okay, I messed up, it's time for me to look forward, look, you accept it for what it is. You make a plan. You say, okay, hey, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna do my time, get whatever I can get to better myself, anything that is available for you to become a better mother, brother, sister, father, whatever. You take every opportunity that is afforded to you. Make use for the time that you have behind the walls, because in order for you to be successful and stay from inside the walls, you got to keep going once you get back outside the walls. And if you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. But if you can have a plan and no support and still fail, you've got to have a support system, because you can't do it on your own. When you first get out, you've got to have support. But you've got to be able to prove to your support that you're worth supporting.
And what is it available inside of the prison? Is it uh, different avenues that you as an inmate has available to you?
It just depends. Most of the facilities have educational programs. Some of them all of them have an alcohol and drug program. But there's so many unlimited resources that you as a prisoner can write for and request. There's so many things that are right at your disposal because you're incarcerated. It's just like a boat full of knowledge. You just have to want it, and you'll have it. You're on mute. Hello? Can't hear you.
My God. Okay. Okay. Now this is eerie right here.
Yes,
Okay.
I haven't
My,
heard anything you said.
okay. And well, I guess nobody else heard it, me either. But that's all right, because I know I can repeat.
Yes, ma'am.
What what advice do you have for these young people? I was over there in TikTok, and all I heard was anxiety, stress, and depression. Mothers, fathers in prison, brothers doing stuff out there that's going to land them in prison. And here she is, don't know, peer pressure is making her follow the wrong
Mm.
people. How? What can she do? What about you? Did you have that peer pressure?
Yes, you. I had a lot of peer pressure, and it's all in who you allow into your life. No matter how good you want to see in a person, if they don't want to be good, if they're just consumed in darkness, no matter how good you are, it's never going to balance out. And you have to get away from that in order for you not to be in situations where you could be, where you have detrimental damage to yourself or your life. It's all about the people, places, and things you put yourself into. That's the only way. And you've got to, like, I used to make a decision and I would change my decision based on the person I was dealing with, their reaction. However, knowing that the first decision I made was the first that was the best decision, I would go against that inner gut conscience because of someone else, and that's what gets us in trouble all the time. So we've got to listen to self. When self say that little nag we get, we got to listen to it. That's what avoids us from making a lot of the mistakes that we make.
But we all have the Holy Spirit inside of us.
Hmm.
God did not leave us on our own. We have the Holy Spirit that if we would stop thinking that we know all things,
Hmm.
we know the answer, or somebody else that we met is so smart that what they said goes. When we all have the Holy Spirit inside of us. Is that right, Dana?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you were in prison, and I know that they had some who did not want to see you leave. I'm sure there was some that say, I'm gonna be here 20 years. Ain't no way I should worry about her little 7 years. I'm gonna be me, I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna make her stay in here as long as I am. Does that happen?
Somewhat, yes, you have those that, like they say, misery loves company. And it wasn't even so much as the other prisoners like myself, other inmates like myself. It was a lot of the guards that would just come at us, attacking us on that looked at us as society looks at us as convicts, as thrown away in the institution with no hope. And no matter what, there was a couple of them, no matter what we did, they were always looking to write us up. And when you get wrote up, so many write ups could eventually add more time to your sentence. And a lot of women that did have longer sentences, they wouldn't make it harder for us that had shorter sentences. They just didn't have a lot of tolerance. But the guards were the biggest hurdles because some of them that they were just ignorant.
That's that's what I heard, and I'm so glad that you said that. And so that's not, you hear about what other inmates going to do to you when you get in. But that's not the problem.
No.
And see, the one thing about down south, and I'm from here so I can say it, those in power always made sure that they were in control so that they whatever they wanted was
Yes.
relevant. It was not what the people needed or wanted. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I chose to go down south, down to Mississippi Gulf Coast, because that's my home and
Mm-hmm.
because there needs to be a turnaround
Yes, ma'am.
right there. Because
Yep.
what I see happening to our homes, our communities, it's taking me way back. And I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to see that again.
Yes, ma'am. And it's
I don't,
ironic
huh?
that you're from Mississippi, and
Yeah,
that's where I did my time because Mississippi, there and that's the first state I've ever seen that don't believe in first time offenders.
no.
They throw you away. They don't ask no
Hmm.
questions. And what I had to tell a lot of people, a lot of the women that it just broke my heart. If they didn't have family, if the court system see you don't have family, they like, well, if they don't care about you, why should I? And that's how they end up giving them all these decades in prison because they're like, no one's gonna miss them.
That's
And
right. That's
people don't understand when that's all a person hears. Ain't nobody gonna miss you, and that keeps playing in their head 24/7. Whatever you ain't gonna be that's what they believe. And in order for it to even begin to be a generational turnaround, you've got to start turning their mindset. You're on mute.
that's right, Dana. That's
Mm-hmm.
right. And you know, black people, we are loving. We always loved our family. We always had that compassion and wanted to make sure that Uncle Joe and Sarah, my cousin, that's my cousin. Oh no, you can't mess with my cousin because we always had that.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started separating ourselves, then we saw a break in Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. That was that break separated us from our family, and we need to get that back because
Mm-hmm.
that break is what put our young people where they are in harm's way
Yes,
because
ma'am.
we stopped teaching them what they needed
Mm-hmm.
to make it,
Yes, ma'am.
and now they don't know. And so the ball got dropped, and we got to pick it up and run with it. So when we're coming to Gulfport, Mississippi, we are coming not with more questions. We're coming with tested and proven solutions. We're coming with what God has made clear to us. And we can't do any of this if we don't first believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of time. It's futile if we don't go to God first. Get on the armor of God. We've got to be
Yes,
armed up
ma'am.
because where we are going,
Hmm.
it's not an easy state to be in, for one thing. And Every time I call home, there is somebody's child who just went to prison for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The less they get is 20 years.
Yep. It's like that's the minimum.
Yeah, yeah. So, what I want you to right now, I want you to look in the camera and I want you to give hope to the hopeless, give some, they need some joy. We need some joy. You gave joy already by telling those that are in there right now, there is a tomorrow. But I want you to say it in your words, Dana.
Yes, ma'am. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, no matter how bad it looks, there's always hope. The first step, you've got to believe in yourself and tell yourself, I'm going to make it out of this. No matter what, I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be wiser. And I'm going to make it. And once you believe in yourself and know that, hey, this too shall pass, it's only here to make me stronger, you'll get through whatever it is. And stop listening to the naysayers here, the naysayers there. Stop sharing all your business. Keep your business to yourself because not everybody's for you. And always know that A, believe in yourself and have that faith and you're gonna make it.
And you said we cannot say, tell somebody what we're planning to do before we do it, and then be surprised that they've already taken it and run with it.
Yes, ma'am.
If God has given you something, He's not, He wants you to wait until He's given you the go.
Yes, ma'am.
That because I've jumped the gun before, and before I knew it, somebody took the same concept because it was only a concept at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and worked that concept, and before I knew it, they did it before I did it.
Yes, ma'am.
I couldn't be mad with them because I gave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
God didn't tell me to go discuss this with anybody. He said, be still and know that I
Know
am
that
God.
I am God. Yes, ma'am.
And then keep it moving.
Hmm. Oh, I got
So,
one more thing to tell them.
yeah, please go ahead.
And listen, the one of the biggest things that I learned was humility. When you even when those guards are wrong, you still respect them. When you respect them and treat them with kindness, that angers them the most, but they can't touch you. Don't let them get you out of character, get you more time, and get you in more trouble. Just be like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Go on about your business.
See, that's it. And you know, even out here, Dana, we got our young men, especially when you being stopped by the police. Same thing Dana just said. That makes them angrier to
Mm-hmm.
know that you know exactly how to act. You got everything that you need that they're asking for, and live to go through life another day. Live
Mm-hmm.
to live out your purpose another day. Strategy, the strategy, that's all it is. You, one thing black people, we were good with strategy.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
grandfather, my grandmother, they were the strategy. with the people that they dealt with. I mean, they was in their 80s when they died. Okay,
Mm.
they had to deal with people back in the day that had no respect.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was a game. Everything was a game. And they were determined to win, but they didn't. So you be determined to win your life,
Mm-hmm.
your purpose. Mm, I thank you so much, Dana,
I thank you for
for this,
allowing me.
having this the the wherewithal, the the nerve to this not just do your part when you was in that prison, but to say, I'm not just here for me. And your daughter, I thank your daughter. I thank your daughter for God speaking to her so that you wouldn't be worried about them. But you kept hearing your daughter say who you are. She pronounced who you are before you even got to that prison. Did she not, Dana?
Yes, ma'am.
So a child shall lead them. Yeah. And these young people out here, they are supposed to step into their purpose and not be stopped by, as you just said, the naysayers. I
Mm-hmm.
pray that today will be better than yesterday. And we're in the
Amen.
end of that day. So if you are still here, it was better than yesterday. But
Yes.
not as good as tomorrow. I pray that tomorrow will bring forth a blessing in the form of opportunity that we never saw coming. Please forgive my dog, y'all. But anyway, we have had a time today. Thank you, Dana. My family is having a party. We got family over from out of town. So I'm gonna have to cut this short because it sounds like
Yes,
they put
ma'am.
the music. They getting ready to jam. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I wish you could come over, Dana.
I sure wish I
It's gonna
could.
be good. Hey everybody, thank you. And we will be back Wednesday. And I got several of the speakers who's going to be with me for the next few episodes. So, but I had to have Dana in here because I knew the information she had was going to bless somebody tonight. So, good night, Dana.
Good night. Thank you again.
Please, and say good night to the viewers.
Good night, everyone. Thank y'all.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Here we go. Y'all hear the music getting loud? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good night.
Good night.